Hello guys and welcome back. So let's move on to implement a patrolling functionality to our AI. We can do that with a component to represent different locations and also some functionality to give the next patrol point information. And that component then can be applied to any different AIs so that it's going to be more modular. To do that, I'm going to go to the AI folder and then right click and create a new actor component. And I can call this guy patrol point component. Okay, now open it. I need this component to hold an array of variables, an array of actor variable, right? So let me do that. Oh, actor. Okay, and then it can be named to be patrol points. Okay. I'm going to compile this and then change that to an array. Okay. And make it public. Also, I want a function to give me the next in the array. I'll keep updating it. So every time I call that function, it's going to give me the next in the array. Okay. So that means I need to create a variable here. And that's going to be a integer. And I can call this integer current patrol point index. Okay, save that. All right, now here I'm going to override create a function. I call this guy get next patrol point. Okay, and then I can first of all use current patrol point index to get the current patrol point, right? And then I'm going to increment it. Okay. To do that though, I kind of need to first of all store this into a local variable because I have to store that information. If I increment it later on without an execution, it's going to read that incremented value. So I'm going to go from first read it and then set it to a variable. Okay. Did I do local variable? I can do local variable instead. Okay. And call this guy next point, the one I will return. Okay. And then let me grab the current patrol point and increment it. So ++ to increment. Okay. Now after incrementing, I kind of wanted to, to clamp it to the range of the, or basically cycling through the range of the array. So here I can say, let's get the length, or actually, yeah, length. Oh, now that I get the patrol point. Let me just duplicate that guy and get the length. Okay, and I can do the module. The typical trick to cycle the values through the variable index inside of an array. And that's going to be how I set the current patrol point. Okay, and eventually let's do a return. The return node, change that to thought I renamed it. Oh, that's the local variable. I don't need this this global variable, global member variable. Let's go create a output. It's gonna be an actor reference. Let's call this next patrol point, or alt next patrol point, and drag that next patrol point to here. Okay, cool. So every time when I call this function, it's going to give me the next in this patrol point array. It's like a component with a data that represent different parts, different points you want the player to be able to go, the AI to be able to go, and there is also a function to get the next place to go. Okay, cool. So now let's go back to the behavior tree, right? So those are the ones we do when we actually notice something. Right? Let's move them away, and I'm gonna create another sequence after that. Those are lower hierarchy priority now, so that means that when we notice something, when we notice something here, right, we will cancel this, and that's why the both is here, and we will go towards one of those branches. But when both of those are not true, that's when we do this patrolling part. So first thing I want to do is find the next point to go to, and then move to there, right? All right. So that means I need a task specifically for me to update a next patrol point, right? And we don't have a task for that, so let's go ahead and create a new task, and we can name this new task. Oops, where does it? Let's go look for it in the content browser, and we can rename this guy BT task find next patrol point. Okay. Now instead of it, I'm going to override the function for the receive execute AI. That's going to be called when you run that task. Okay. Now we're going to say let's get the pun, right? And then get component by class, and I'm going to get that patrol point component. Okay. And that means the character should have that component. So let's go ahead and add that to the character. Okay, compile and save this. Okay, so that's going to be the component, and we can get it in the task. And let's check if it's valid or not, just to be safe. Okay, so if it's valid, what we want to do is let's go ahead and get the next patrol point. Okay, and that's gonna be, this one will be updating a Blackboard key. So here in our Blackboard, I'm gonna create a new key, call this next patrol point, and next. Okay. And the object type will be an actor. Okay, save this. Now go back to the task. Then we can say let's set Blackboard value as object. This is a little different because it doesn't know what the Blackboard is already, so you don't have to worry about that. The value will be, of course, our new next patrol point, but this key will be something new, and you can drag it out and say promote to variable, and we can call this guy next way patrol point, actually key selector. Okay, make it public, compile and save. So this guy will be something we can specify on the task in the behavior tray by clicking on it, and then we can specify what key we want to update in there. And finish this, we can create a finish execute and check on success. Control W and duplicate this guy. I'm going to drag that to the is not valid and check that off. Okay. Okay. Cool. So that way, for every execution pin, you want to end with a finish execute. Okay, compile and save this. Now we can go back to our behavior tray and say, let's use that, right? So find next patrol point. Now you can see the next patrol point key selector, that variable we created and made public. And that's where we specify what do we want to update in the set Blackboard key as actor. That's going to be the next patrol point. And after updating that, let's go move to there, right? So move to the next patrol point. Save that. Okay, let's go ahead and play. Oops, one more thing I want to do though is I kind of wanted to give the guy a little bit more patrol points. So I'm gonna go to patrol point component and add some points. That can be done with a bunch of target locators, target point, right? Just drag some here, one more here, and one more here, right? I'm gonna go ahead and add those 4 target points to my guard. So here in the patrol point component, I'm gonna add 1, 2, 3, 4, and look for target point. Okay, target point 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and play. Let's hold down Shift and then start walking and jump on top. See, you can see the AI is basically going through all these different waypoints, patrolling around. Oh, now the AI sees us. You can see the AI actually goes towards us. Okay, because when the AI sees us, it's gonna immediately cancel all the patrolling and basically everything, and then reevaluate. And with that knowledge, the AI will then move to the focused actor. Okay, cool. Alright, so we have some patrolling working, but let's take a look at that behavior. Okay, so let's say the AI actually moves towards us. AI actually is patrolling, and the AI sees us, right? And also hears us. Okay, now there's gonna be an issue here. When the AI hears us, there will be a noise location, and it's gonna always be there, right? That means this one, the first time the AI hears us, that's when the first time we update this noise location, and it's gonna be there. It's gonna be a valid value. It's gonna be set. So this will never go false again, ever, right? That's because it's gonna be there. So that means if the AI is patrolling and the AI hears us, so let me run around. You can see the AI actually moves to where the AI hears us, and the AI will just stuck there because there's no way we tell the AI to go back to patrolling yet. So let's actually go ahead and see how we can make that work in the next video. Okay, see you next time.